Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, coming at you with another zombie film. And now we get to one of my favorite zombie films, one of my favorite comedies, one of my favorite movies in general, and that is Shaun of the Dead. I fucking love this movie. I actually do like this more than Zombieland. I think it's funnier than Zombieland. This really brings me back, or definitely feels like an 80s horror comedy like Reanimator and Return of the Living Dead. Definitely has that kind of feel. I'm a big fan of British comedies. I remember when this came out in 2004, 5, of course, 2004, so I was probably in like 7th or 8th grade. I actually didn't see it then. I didn't see it till years later. This is the first of a trilogy that's directed by Edgar Wright and stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Which, I can't remember the name of the trilogy, but someone eats a different flavor of a certain kind of ice cream in each trilogy. The other two is Hot Fuzz, which I think is pretty good, and then At World's End, which I never saw. But I love Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. I think those two guys work great together. And Shaun of the Dead is sort of a parody of zombie movies as a whole. So it's kind of like Scary Movie, but way fucking better. Even on the cover, an absolute blast, said by George Romero, director of Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, even the title, Shaun, Dawn. I would say Dawn is sort of its biggest source material to parody upon, but you get references to Night of the Living Dead and a bunch of zombie movies. So our main character is this guy named Shaun, played by Simon Pegg. He works at this sort of Radio Shack type store. His life is completely boring. His girlfriend is Liz. And, all they do is go to this pub called the Winchester. And he has his best friend, lifelong friend, Ed, played by Nick Frost, who's a dumbass, constantly bringing him down. And Shaun is he's unhappy with his dead-end job, happy with doing the same thing every day. His girlfriend Liz is tired of it, tired of Ed. And eventually she breaks up with him. Because, she has to move on, she needs more excitement in her life. So him and Ed go out to celebrate at the Winchester. And somehow, overnight, there's a zombie apocalypse. And the next day, him and Ed have to try to survive. And it's non-stop laughs, start to finish. If you're not a big fan of British humor, you might not like or get some of it. It is very dry. It is dry humor, but I love dry British humor. And it just has so many great scenes. Like the morning, because it opens up with his morning routine. How he goes to the store to buy a drink. Then he walks to work. Well, when he's hungover, he does the same thing. He walks to the store, and there's all this carnage. Like burnt cars and trash everywhere. Blood on the door. He doesn't notice any of it. It's all routine to him. There's a zombie girl in the backyard. And, him and Ed don't realize she's a zombie. She tries to bite him and he pushes her. She trips and lands on something that goes all the way through her. And just little moments like Ed's taking pictures of, because they think she's trying to kiss Shaun, so he's taking pictures. And then he pushes her onto the thing. And she stands up and there's this great camera movement. Like when she stands, she's back too, and there's a hole looking straight through at Ed and Shaun. So they're standing there, and he's just like, with the camera rewinding it, and he's like, "Stop that!" There's another big fat zombie, and they realize if you throw something at their head, it will stop them. So they grab Shaun's record collection, and it's one of my favorite parts. They're sitting there looking through the record collection. He's just like, this, no, this, no, this, no, this, throw it. And just like, how about this one? He's like, I like it. So they're sort of showing what albums he likes. And he's like, no, don't throw that. Okay, that's good. It's like, that's Liz's. It's like, well, she did throw it. Break up with you. But I just love that scene of these zombies are coming at them, and he's still saying, don't throw these records. I love that part where he asks about this one. He's just like, I like it. So they go back to looking through the records. Then there's a long part where he's talking over the plan, like we go over to Mom's, kill Philip, go over to the Liz's. They go down to the Winchester and wait for this whole thing to blow over. But there's different variables in the plan, so he has to keep going through the whole thing over again. I like when he's talking to his mom on the phone. And he's saying how we're coming to get you, and she's like, no, we're fine. Her name is Barbara. So Ed yells into the phone, we're coming to get you, Barbara. Reference to Night of the Living Dead. And of course, when they meet up with Liz, these two other friends, Dave and someone else. Dave is in love with Liz, even though he's dating the sort of airhead blonde that's with him, who's an acting student. I love the part when they're going through the backyards of all the houses, and he has this like little kid slide, and he's like, I'm gonna look over the fences and see if it's safe. So he climbs up the ladder. We just see his feet for a second. Then he climbs back down. He's like, is it safe? No. I mean, it doesn't sound funny when I'm explaining it. So of course they make it to the Winchester, the place that Liz hates because they go there every day. And the Winchester sort of serves as like the mall in Dawn of the Dead. And you get silly moments like when the jukebox turns on and all the zombies can hear it. And Shaun's like, I've killed the queen. He's like, what? He's like, the music. And then, there's like Liz, Shaun, and I think Ed. They all have like a weapon. And they're all hitting this zombie as the camera pans on all three of them to Queen's Don't Stop Me Now. So they're like it's like they're all doing it to the music. It's hard to review comedies because all you do is just talk about the parts that are funny. It does have CGI, which kind of sucks, but there is gore effects also. And I just think it does a great job at even the look of the zombies are great. I like the part where he's out at the circuit box trying to turn the lights on. A light over here turns on. There's a door with a window, and all the zombies are up against it. And he's just like shuts the thing, walks over, closes the. It's just such a funny movie. I can't praise it enough. Then I like how at the end, they get back together. And, this was so much excitement that when he asked her, so what did we do today? And she just lists off a bunch of boring stuff that ends with them going to the Winchester. And he's like, I was going to go to the garden. She's like, fine. So he goes out to the garden and he has zombie Ed in the shed with the PlayStation. So it's like there's still something that's going to bother her. Also at the end, it sort of shows that after the zombie apocalypse has been taken care of, there's like, American Gladiator shows with zombies, game shows with zombies. There's meaningless jobs like cart pushers, not putting down any cart pushers at like grocery stores. They're all zombies. They use them for those kind of jobs. I really think a British comedy is better at satire and just more clever and funny at stuff they do more than American movies. probably why I'm such a huge Monty Python fan. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I'll always love Shaun of the Dead. I think this is one of the funniest movies ever made. It's one of my favorite zombie movies. It's definitely a good throwback, or one of the best horror comedies since like Return of the Living Dead and Reanimator, Evil Dead 2. Just it really honors its source material like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, with its references or jokes. Just, I don't know what else to say about it. Fucking love Shaun of the Dead. So damn funny, so entertaining. And, you know, I think if there was an American version of this, I don't think it would have been as funny. Like, the Brits have their own brand of comedy, and to have it mixed into a zombie movie is just pure gold. Shaun of the Dead, fucking love it. It's now a classic, it's 15 years old. I think those guys are awesome. So for Road 237, thank you for watching.